Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you about words in the news.
This member of the U.S. Congress is saying good things about U.S.-South Korea relations.
Given the positive changes in South Korea, it is only proper for us to consider real ways to improve the U.S.-Korean alliance beyond a security-focused relationship. The future of the U.S.-Korea alliance remains largely unwritten.
An alliance between countries usually is a formal agreement for cooperation.
Many alliances are based on defense or economic issues. Alliances also can be between people or organizations.
Now, when you hear the word alliance,
your English will be good enough to know what this news word means.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words. Guess which word is common in stories about American government?
Capitol Hill.
Appearing on Capitol Hill, the State Department's Special Representative for Afghanistan, James Dobbins, downplayed the likelihood of a complete U.S. military disengagement.
When Americans say Capitol Hill, they usually mean the Congress, where national laws are made. The U.S. Senate and House of Representatives work in the Capitol building, which sits on a hill here in Washington.
Now, when you hear the phrase Capitol Hill, you'll know what these news words mean. For more news words, visit our website at learningenglish.voanews.com. Welcome to Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you words that are used in the news.
Computers, mobile phones, laptops, and tablets all operate on computer networks, so you may have heard this news word recently.
Cyber attack.
In this news story, the United States discovered that cyber attacks were coming from China.
U.S. officials and businesses are increasingly disturbed by growing evidence that China is behind a series of cyber attacks on U.S. interests.
Cyber attacks are attacks on the computer networks of banking systems, businesses, and governments.
Cyber means computer networks. And those cyber attacks have one purpose: to steal and damage information.
So the next time you hear
cyber attack,
your English will be good enough to know what this news word means.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you about words in the news.
American singers Beyoncé and Jay-Z traveled to Cuba for their anniversary. Why could that be an issue?
Washington's 51-year trade embargo makes it illegal for U.S. citizens to visit Cuba just for tourism. But they can travel there on different exchanges.
Embargo. It means to ban trade with a country. The United States has a trade embargo with Cuba, for example, because Washington disagrees with Havana's policies.
So the next time you hear the word embargo, your English will be good enough to know what this news word means.
Welcome to Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you about words in the news.
When the George W. Bush Presidential Library opened in Texas, all of the living U.S. presidents, past and present, gathered for the ceremony.
One of the things that the Presidential Library's opening demonstrates, in many ways, is an end to the administration. This is really the last thing that he's going to do as president of this administration, of this group of people.
The word presidential means having to do with a president. Presidential libraries hold the official papers from a president's administration.
Presidential elections are when voters choose a president, often a nation's top public official. Now, when you hear the word presidential,
your English will be good enough to know what this news word means.
Welcome to the Voice of America's News Words, where we teach you about words in the news.
When you hear a story about American business, sometimes you hear this phrase: stock market.
Traders are pausing Thursday after the U.S. stock market's longest rally since July.
A stock market is where people buy and sell ownership certificates or stock in companies. Many countries have stock markets.
In the United States, the best known one is the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street. The NASDAQ is another American stock market. Now, when you hear the phrase stock market, your English will be good enough to know what these news words mean.
For more news words, visit our website at learningenglish.voanews.com.
Welcome to Voice of America's News Words. Here's a word you might have heard.
Surveillance. It's in a story about U.S. government intelligence agencies watching Americans' telephone and internet records.
President Obama put forward his defense of the secret surveillance programs when asked by a reporter during a healthcare event in California.
Surveillance means to watch or follow someone or something closely. Usually it's done secretly.
U.S. intelligence groups say gathering telephone and internet records helps prevent terrorism.
Now, when you hear the word surveillance, your English will be good enough to know what this news word means.